What is the most common scene in Indian movies? Not singing or dancing scene. It was a slap scene. Nearly every Indian film will feature this. India is the country with the most severe domestic violence in the world. It is said that half of the women suffer from domestic violence. Do not cook the meal, say something wrong. Even if men are not in a good mood, the Indian women will be beaten. But India is one of the countries with the lowest divorce rates in the world. Almost zero. Why? The answer lies in the newly broadcast Indian film. Got good feedback, Thappad. The thing is like this. The female lead married her crush during her school days. A handsome rich guy. After the wedding, the female lead lived in a villa with her husband and stayed at home as an exemplary wife. Every day cooked breakfast for her husband. Measure blood sugar for mother-in-law and small but many things. But she still did them well. To let her husband can eat one more piece of cake. She even ran to chase him. That day, the husband was promoted again. He was sent to London to accept the position of director of the subsidiary. Finally, the two can fulfill their aspirations to settle abroad. The whole family was extremely excited. That night, they held a party to celebrate, but the husband's phone rang when only halfway through. The company changed its mind. He could still go to London, but the position of the director would belong to another person. The husband was so angry. Immediately go to find superiors to ask clearly. Who expected the boss show? At a face like, you know it. Are you kidding me? They started arguing. The controversy is increasingly tense. The wife had to run to discourage. While they were pushing right, the female lead was slapped by her husband. The husband immediately left after the slap. Parents panicked. Curious neighbors. And a few people continued dancing. Like nothing happened. But that slap seemed to have blown away the girl's soul. It was completely unexpected that one day her husband beat her. Also in front of many people like that. She wanted to go upstairs to calm down. At this time, the mother-in-law gave her one more hit. Go. There are many guests outside. What would they think? That night, the female lead stayed awake all night. In the morning, everything seems to have drifted in the past. Husband and mother-in-law casually enjoyed the female lead's care. About the slap last night. The husband started to talk about a lot of dissatisfaction with the job. Right. He did not apologize. The smile gradually disappeared from the female lead's face. She can understand her husband, who hit her because of anger. But she couldn't understand. Why was her husband not sorry? Furthermore, the husband pays attention to the wife's unusual. Decided to treat her to meals. The results throughout the meal he talked all about his work. He was about to resign. The boss was scared. Wanted to set a deal with him. Right. He still did not apologize. Came home. The female lead couldn't sleep. Flipped through the pictures when she was young. She was standing on the platform to receive the prize. Smiling like a flower. Looking at the familiar husband beside. She decided to awoke. Thappad is the domestic violence problem that Indian women are suffering. Cold violence, hot violence, of course there is also sexual violence, too much violence, causing the Indians to lose feeling, even think that violence is an obvious morality. The female lead decided to return to her mother's house. The husband's first reaction was, don't mess things up, I will treat you as, did not say anything. Then, how do I explain to my mother? And then, if you want to make things serious just go. The female lead extremely disappointed. The two people officially lived separately. A few days later the husband couldn't take it anymore. He brought a necklace, make up with his wife, but the attitude was still arrogant. Unable to convince wife, the husband started to get angry. How about you slapping me back? The female lead shook her head and left. Saw that unable to convince, the husband had to use strong measures. He sent the attorney's letter. According to Indian law, husband has the right to order his wife to return home. Reluctant live female lead must ask for help from the lawyer. The lawyer quickly gave 3 options. 1 return, 2 live separately, 3 divorced. The lawyer advised the female lead to choose option 1, but unexpectedly, the female lead chose the last option. Lawyers feel ridiculous. The female lead retorted. Don't they think that slapping others is ridiculous? That question convinced the lawyer she was also suffering the same fate of violence, no matter how many lawsuits she won. When the lawyer began to admire the girl's bravery, she decided to help the female lead also help herself. Soon after she drafted a divorce petition. The lawsuit required her husband to share half of the property with the female lead. Unexpectedly, the female lead still disagreed. She did not want to take any money. Lawyers feel ridiculous. You has been taking care of that family for many years. I just want to get a fair deal for you. The female lead said, our marriage is very fair. He makes money, I take care of his family. What's not fair is that slap. What's not fair is that everyone thinks I should forget about it. What's not fair is that all of the options for me were so bad. What's not fair is that even you want me to accept the injustice. When two people were arguing, the husband acted. He bribed the witnesses, proved that at that time he did not slap his wife, even took a bite back, said the wife had violent action. He even defamed his wife, that she married him for money. Under many denunciations, the female lead's bank account and credit card were frozen. Her lawyer advised her to quickly fight back, but she continued to refuse. Do whatever they want to do. I just do what I think is right. He hit me, that was the first time, but that shouldn't be. He shouldn't hit me even once. So, the female lead resolutely holds her stance, didn't listen to anyone's advice, but right that time, she was pregnant. The female lead left home because of a slap. The husband's first reaction was, how do I explain to my mother? And then, how would neighbors and relatives look at me? From start to finish, the husband was not only not sorry, but also just thinking about other people's attitudes, about the thought of his wife. He didn't care. That was the reason why the female lead resolved to divorce. At first the husband was also very arrogant. If you want to go, I also have a maid. But when he really had to live alone, his arrogance slowly collapsed. No one wake him up in the morning. Self-brewed coffee was not to taste. There is no meal to bring. Can only order a meal outside. Even a tea filter bag. He can't find it even though he rummaged through the kitchen cabinet. This time he realized that. How much did he depend on women? Unexpected thing happened. That day, the husband just came to the office. Immediately realized a very strange atmosphere. It turned out that the company was afraid of him resigning. Agreed to his terms. Come to London as director. That evening, the female lead took the initiative to meet her husband. And said she was pregnant. The husband was very happy. All plans for the future seemed to be on the way. 2020, we moved to England. 2020, I would be a dad. 2022, be a dad again. 2025, we moved to America. Heard what he's saying? The female lead heard these words. She wasn't happy. Right that moment. Husband suddenly found out. His wife secretly removed the wedding ring. He got mad again. He scolded his wife. Said that she was destroying the lives of him and his child. And this word has also completely destroyed the last remaining love of the female lead for her husband. The divorce day had also arrived. Now the husband was much gentler. He agreed to divorce. Agreed to give the house and money to his wife, with the requirement to be entitled to 100% custody of the child. Hearing that, the female lead has always been calm before. In the end, she can't help it anymore. The first time, also the only time in the movie, she scolded her husband. I have no intention of letting your mother lose her nephew. Netra and I have not discussed this at all. Even if you offered to spend money to buy child from me. I'm sorry. This is not for sale. Very sorry. They couldn't come back. The husband did not understand. He came to find his boss, talked everything. The boss's answer hit the husband's heart. At that time you was angry with me. But did you hit me? Of course not. Hitting wife. Because deep inside, he thought it was able. But he did not dare to beat the boss. Right that moment. The husband finally awoke, that he was wrong. Finally he sincerely agreed to divorce. The day of the divorce, the female lead hugged her mother-in-law. Sincerely said, you gave me a lot of love. But the party that night made me know. The woman who you love is Vikram's wife. Not me. I don't want that. That night, no one come to visit me. No one told me that Vikram was wrong. Everybody thought that Vikram was not wrong. Even if he was wrong, I also had to forget about it. I can't forgive that. Those words awakened all the women present there. This is not your fault. It's the fault of parents. Like us. We never taught our son that he couldn't hit women. This is also your mother's fault. Because she told you to keep silence. We are not in a position to ask you to stay. Go home. At the end of the movie, all the women who were harmed bravely fight back. They return all the hits they have taken. The female lawyer also left her arrogant husband. Even the husband also resigned. Returned to India from London. He found his ex-wife. Sincerely expressed for the first time, "You are my home." It was also the first time to apologize. Because of his slap. Someone will ask, isn't it just a slap? Is it worth it? It's worth. Because domestic violence only happens 0 times and countless times. If today you ignored someone else being slapped, sooner or later there will be a day that slap will land on your face. The movie is over here. If you like this story, remember to like and subscribe. See you later.